The year is 2008. Or maybe it was 2009, maybe 2010. That's not the point. Anyways, I got home from school one day and went to my dad's house with my younger brother to hang out with my older brother. I was probably like 12 years old. I think my younger brother was like 10 at the time, maybe 11. I don't know. I don't remember. I'm not a fucking watch. It was the day after my older brother's birthday, and my brother Tom and I went down in the basement, and it was my older brother's 17th birthday, which means in the eyes of the MSRB, the higher powers above us all, he was legally an adult, mature, if you will. My brother and I went down there and we saw that he had already had this game set up. It was this really weird industrial music with a white screen, and then in big red letters, Assassin's Creed 2 showed up on screen. My brother and I freaked the fuck out. We weren't really allowed to play anything more violent than NBA 2K, but I always thought it was cool, so seeing the word assassin on the TV made us hyped, and we already knew that we were in for a good night. Holy shit, I was so ready for it. We opened up the game as Desmond Miles, some dude who had assassin DNA because his ancestors were like well-known assassins. I know what you're thinking, do I need to play Assassin's Creed 1 to know what's going on in Assassin's Creed? No, luckily the devs thought ahead of this, and right before Assassin's Creed 2 starts, they give you a full recap on Assassin's Creed 1, which is really helpful for someone that didn't have the time or cared enough to play Assassin's Creed 1. I played through it a couple years later after the fact, and it's just like a glitchy mess, and you only have 3 weapon options, and you can't swim, and like, it was just not my favorite game. Hot take alert. Getting back into the story of Assassin's Creed 2, Desmond and his super hot polygonal not girlfriend Lucy escape from Abstergo, this huge corporation that is trying to like stop the assassins from giving free will, I think is the main plot of the game. Abstergo is a company of a collection of people called the Templars. The Templars are this group of people that want to stop the assassins and think that the only way to have true peace is through control, whereas the assassins think that the only way to true peace is through free will. Obviously, I kind of like free will, so I'm gonna go with the assassins on this one. Lucy works for the Abstergo Corporation, and she tells Desmond that she is a spy for the assassins, and at the beginning of the game, they break out of Abstergo and try to find other assassins. They escape to a warehouse where other assassins are. You have to go through your memories to learn how to be an actual assassin in real time, and you have to help to stop the Templars from doing whatever it is they're doing. Desmond uses this machine called the Animus. Animus is a device that allows people to go through their ancestors' memories and play as them and learn all the things that they learned throughout their life. In this game, Desmond uses the Animus to become Ezio Auditore di Firenze. I'm not going to try to keep saying that because I'm not an Italian guy. But this dude was the epitome of cool. He was just like, he fucks shit up, he hooks up with all these hot Italian girls, and most importantly, he loves his family. Guess what fucking happens? Ezio's father and brothers are found out to be assassins, and they get fucking hanged in the center of Florence, Italy, and it's fucking spooky. Ezio spends the next 3 games, that's right, not only did Ezio get Assassin's Creed 2, he got Assassin's Creed Brotherhood and Assassin's Creed Revelations, and he spends the entirety just trying to defend his family. We love a good family, man. Most of the stuff from Assassin's Creed 2 transfers over to the other games, with some minor additions and differences in location, but all around they're very similar. Alright, that's enough of a rundown of the plot of the game. Let's get into why this game is so important to me. Oh man, this game is so cool with how it does shit. Biggest difference is in transportation. Parkour is a form of gymnastics, I guess, that was first reportedly utilized all the way back in 1914, but didn't really kick off in the United States until the 1990s. Parkour is often recognized as a way of using momentum and speed to get to places not normally thought possible, such as vaulting over hand railings, jumping from rooftop to rooftop, and sometimes jumping from a high vantage point to a lower, all without somehow breaking your ankles. A few pieces of pop culture, such as films like Taxi 2 and District 13, utilized this method. However, one piece of media in particular is probably the most recognizable introduction to the term parkour.
Parkour! Michael! Parkour! Parkour! Extreme! Parkour! Parkour!
Not many games at the time were all about parkour, with Assassin's Creed using it as one of the main methods of transportation throughout Renaissance Italy. And I'll admit, there were a few times when it's sticky, like sometimes there might be an input that doesn't register quick enough, there might be a weird grab that Ezio might miss every once in a while. The game might not understand an input that you wanted to do when you're trying to climb up the tallest building in the game, and Ezio misses a fucking ledge and he falls 20 stories to his inevitable death because he's fucking stupid in this game. So going over to the fighting, it's a basic fight system with blocks and strikes and reversals and stuff, and there's enough variety in the enemies to keep you on your toes with how you approach a fight. Oh, there's enemies surrounded by a bunch of regular ones? Try to dodge the big guy and take out the smaller ones first. Then you can isolate the big guy and have an easier time fighting him. The missions are all fairly basic and progress the story. None of them really stick out to me, but that's not why I played this game. But the collectibles were phenomenal, like being able to get the best armor in the game by finding and completing a few extra puzzles, or being able to get cool weapons for finding all 100 feathers for your sister and mother, who really like pigeon feathers for some reason. Assassin's Creed 2 also featured a town building mechanic, allowing you to pay to get better weapons available at the blacksmith or cheaper clothing options at the tailor. These upgrades also increased how much money you could earn from having a dope village, which you could spend on making your village even better, which would increase how much money you could earn, which you could spend for making your village even better, which you could increase how much money you earn, which you could spend for making your village even better, which you could...
The cycle shall not be broken. 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 The cycle shall not.
Anyways, what was really great about the next two games was that most of these aspects transferred over. In AC2, when you could build up your little village, in Brotherhood, you could help build up Rome to its former glory before the Templars came to fuck shit up for everyone. And in Revelations, you could do the same thing with Constantinople. You could also still find and do puzzles to get the best armor in the game if you wanted to, which I obviously did as soon as possible because I want to be overpowered. Amongst each of the games, since technology was getting better, the character models also got better. With each installment, Ezio gets a little more detail in his facial hair, the cloth texture and physics see a huge improvement, and even the other characters like Desmond and Lucy transform from lifeless dolls to nearly real people from AC2 to Revelations. And maybe some of you are thinking and remembered, wait, Jack, aren't Lucy and Desmond in AC3? Since that's the last game they're in, shouldn't that be the one where they look the best? And you're right, this is the last game they're in. Good job remembering that. But AC3 got way too big for its fucking britches. The character models for Lucy and Desmond, at the very least, look like they were made in Microsoft Paint. Like, how could you fuck up more as the years went on with technology improving? I don't understand. Maybe it was because when replaying these games to be able to get this script done, I played the Ezio collection on PS4, and those graphics got upscaled slightly. Whereas AC3 was not a part of that remake collection and didn't get the boost it needed. But I didn't think it would affect the character models as bad as it did. Like, holy shit, they're just bad. And even without adding that to the downsides, there are enormous differences that made this game stand out to me as being garbage. They bit off a lot by trying to be a part of the American Revolution, where there were bound to be people who didn't like it because it had to fit such a modern history that people would probably at least be more familiar with. By sticking to times like the Italian Renaissance and the Age of Pirates, you could fudge with some of the facts and nobody would know any different. But there are way too many revolutionary nuts to just blindly allow a few changes in historical characters and stuff. The characters like Washington and Ben Franklin were too campy and kind of irritating at times. The gameplay was ruined by adding the most unnecessary shit mechanics that I've ever seen. They added hunting and gathering, which doesn't even affect gameplay in the tiniest bit. I went through the entire game without hunting anything outside of story missions. You can improve your homestead, which works as your hub world, but there's no motivation to do so. The shops are pointless because there's no convenient way to get money to buy new swords and guns and shit. Not that you need to, because the gameplay is so brain dead that I stuck with the sword I got at the beginning of the entire game and didn't even have any difficulty problems. And I appreciate that they tried to add some new shit to it, but they added way too much and it kind of ruined the fun for me. And Assassin's Creed 3 is just a blip in the series, because Assassin's Creed Black Flag addressed some of the problems I had and improved upon them. They fixed the ship mechanics by placing it in the Pirates' Age, so it made sense to me to have the ships be a big deal. There are ways to upgrade your ship too, so you can make it as strong as you want, but for the most part you don't really have to upgrade it fully, and by completing ship battles you can secure ingredients that you need to do the upgrades in the first place. The Assassin's Creed franchise was never the same after Assassin's Creed 3. It all just felt like I was trying to course correct from that game. The Ezio trilogy, Assassin's Creed 2 in particular is easily the highlight of the entire franchise, and to this day, AC2 is one of the most influential games that has made me the person that I am today. I just wish that it had stopped at Revelations so that they could stop beating a dead horse and trying to shell out a new game once a year, following the same path as your Call of Duties. But if you haven't played any Assassin's Creed games yet, I highly recommend them. I think you could really benefit from seeing what has come, or what makes this franchise so amazing. You can pick up the Ezio trilogy. I think it's remastered on PS4 and Xbox and PC, maybe PC, I don't know. But thanks for watching. I'm gonna try to do more stuff like this. I don't know. We'll see how this one does, and if I like doing these, I will keep doing them. But yeah, that's all I got. Thanks.